are watching and listening to the Satellite Trampoline 3 podcast with your hosts, Rich Clinton, Thom Tessandori, and Andy Maikin. Join us as we discuss anything but politics.
Save me. I don't think I can save myself. Help me.
Thank you, Robot Lady. With the beginning of this pod, I thought we'd try and look at something. It's a little bit contentious, but it's something that I think I heard someone say the other day, and it did strike a nerve with me, which is they were talking about the main reason for music's existence, rather than it being so sacred. It seems to have become background noise for the consumer. It seems to be it's used as a kind of white noise thing rather than people avidly listening as much anymore. Now, maybe that's not the case, but it does seem that it is like that. And also, conversely, is the main reason for music creation fundamentally unchanged? Is it still the actual reason for creation is the same? It's just how it's eaten is different now. Right. So that's where I'm kind of coming from. So, yeah. Thoughts?
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
That's a deep question, man.
I know.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I know it's early in the morning for you guys. I'll tell you what. I'll stumble bum through it a bit. Just the reason for asking the question in the first place is that we are consuming art in a different way than I think we did as kids, maybe. And even though the invention of the Walkman, that kind of stuff, we have our tapes and our mixtapes, but everything was sacred about it, including making a mixtape was a fairly significant thing to do. It was, if you were doing a mixtape, I can only speak for myself, but if I was doing a mixtape for myself to listen to on the Walkman, then it had to be, I had a running order. I wanted it to ebb and flow correctly. I didn't want it to just go, song. I just wanted the choice to have already been made by myself that this running order would work well and dynamically and whatever else, whether it was a mixtape of a lot of bands or whether it was just one band and I just wanted some songs from each record. I'd have probably done it in a linear fashion as well. And so there was a sacredness to that. Whereas now, and I'm guilty of it, I find myself, I got my little Bluetooth speaker in the kitchen. So when I'm cooking, I like to put something on. It's either going to be a podcast, but sometimes it's just music. And so what I tend to do is if I've got music on my phone and I've got a number of albums by artists, I'll do it in chronological order. I won't mix them up. I still find that foul to mix up the songs. I think, well, they put them in that order.
I love exploring entire discographies myself.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Very much so.
And I like the chronological order of it because you tend to notice a growth or maybe a failing in the band. Something that it started out so well and goes bad, but at least you get the sort of the arc of it. But I have, gone through and that song now, then that song, then that. Oh, I don't like that song, and I find myself going through, looking at songs and not choosing anything because I've now got option paralysis. Right. So for me, it's best if I'm doing something, then do I put on stuff that's background? If I put on like instrumental music, it tends to be more background to me. But if there's somebody singing, I do listen. So we'll stick on, I don't know, we'll stick on however many albums of Idols we get through whilst I'm cooking, and me and the wife are singing along to it.
Yeah.
So we are actively listening and doing something else, but there's that. Like my daughter, if she's drawing, she'll put on some lo-fi stuff on YouTube, which is specifically for that. Even the animation of the person on the YouTube video itself, when it's just lo-fi music going on, is someone drawing at a table with a cat. You're going to use this music for that. My worry is that, not worry, just a question really, is art getting its corners rubbed off for the use of that? You know.
Yeah. Your audio is going a little
Oh.
wonky.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. Focus right.
That's right.
You want to roll
back.
with that, Rich? Or I actually got.
No, I'll
some-
roll with it.
I actually got
I've got
some.
some.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Me. I think it's twofold. I think it's part and parcel of where we are as a society now. Everything's just thrown at us at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and so music has just gotten chucked in there because the availability of being able to listen to anything, everything, all at once. And then you throw a podcast in there now that's just, I mean, it's insane. And I do the same thing. I try to still give, I think it's a difference because we're artists and we're musicians. And so we try to give some respect to the whole idea that somebody thought about this because we know the process. I don't know if a basic consumer really thinks about that. They would have probably 40 years ago because that was a little bit more, things came at a very slow pace. We still listen to a lot of vinyl. I have a large vinyl collection, and Becca will put on a record and when she's working on something else and listen to a record, which I still find. I love that the fact that that's kind of come back into play because it's interactive. I think that's where we've lost things as things have become more digital, and you can have them on your phone. You can put it on a Bluetooth, and it'll go until you're dead if you let it, because there's just a mass volume of media that can just be thrown into it. So I still like the idea of actually physically having to get up, flip it over, and continue on. And if you don't like a song, you just wait for the next one to start. You have to really not like a song because you have to physically get up and go and move the needle over to the next song. But yeah, I think it's watered down. I don't think it has the same magic that it did when we were younger, because you listen to a radio and you didn't know what was going to come on next. Now you can look at a playlist and you can see exactly what's going to come on next. You're always got your thumb on the pulse of what's going to happen. And I think I just think overall it's caused this weird FOMO, but I would say if there is a positive over it, which it's a very tiny positive in my world when I think about it, is the fact that it seems to have gotten rid of the clickiness around music that we used to get when we were younger. It's like we've talked about this in the past, where you can only listen. We listen to rock. If we listen to something else, you could be banished from your tribe. And you could be ostracized and thrown over into the corner. It's like, how dare you listen to that? That is garbage. We as a collective say that's garbage, so you must, if you want to be part of us.
Yeah, and I think being eclectic is far more viewed as a positive thing now, especially when you're listening, whatever your choice is, that there's less of that. Absolutely. Sure. I just think that maybe the mysticism of it's gone as well. The romanticism of it has gone a little. It's like you mentioned then when you're listening to an album and you come across, here's a song I'm not too keen on. Well, there's two things there. It could be just shit. It could be terrible. It could be just not your bag. It doesn't lift your skirt up. Or it could be a grower. Yeah. And there's the other side of it, which is, okay, so we've all bought albums in the past, and I don't know about this. This isn't immediately grabbing me.
Right.
But you knew from experience that sometimes they don't. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 listens and suddenly, oh shit, that's deep. I missed that. I missed that the 3rd or 4th time because the artist was patiently waiting for me to get it, or not. But that journey that you make and the decision that your taste buds make, it's like the first time you drink coffee or the first time you drink tea or red wine as a kid.
Root beer.
Well, some of us never get over that tragic fucking happening. But just certain things, you go, I don't know about that. And then you take some more, and then, I like that now. And I think perhaps that's getting lost, because we're instantly going, nope, do not like that. Well, you've heard 2.5 seconds of it, and your fundamental opinion of that artist's creation is, I'm having that,
Yeah.
It's like disliking a whole entire cuisine,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay. So forever being the optimist, I will say this. I have 2 big points about that. first off, in the timeline of this capitalistic society that we live in, we have slowly and intentionally given up control. And that same exact thing is happening with music right now. And like most things, it's a polarity, right? So when we started giving up, say, permissions in Windows XP, we gave up our email address and our name. And then corporations had that and they could sell to us. And then we got on Facebook and we gave them free pictures of our kids and all the things we like to do. Well, now we're on Spotify and an algorithm sort of takes that. Because I'll let Rich tell you what we found yesterday, but it was just a total gem. But we found a couple things. We found one, an MP3 disc that we had burned that we intentionally were like, oh, we could drive to California and back and never have to change the CD, you know, kind of thing. Beautiful. And I remember with my mini disc player having like a song that I thought would end going really nicely into another song, and then putting a sample from Futurama in there, you know, and then like two other songs, you know, and like this insane where my OCD just kicked in when I was 23 or 24, and I would like type out the names of the songs and give them funny, you know, titles, and it fed my need for control. And exactly what you guys are talking about, it's like the opposite of that now. When Andy said, oh, you could listen to like 2 seconds of a song. Mm-hmm. And it's totally true. People don't. Like I watch my kid in the car, boom, 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 you know, until something sort of strikes. Mm-hmm. And I would say to that end, the polarity of what you were talking about before was the polarity about what you were talking about before is the fact that there's now everything is available. Mm-hmm. So if a kid wants to listen to classical music and they type in classical music into Spotify or Apple Music, it's good to give them the best of the best. Yeah. And whereas they would have to go out and buy a record before or go to a store and listen to it. And I know that's a little bit of a stretch. I'm sort of getting the toothpaste out of the bottom of the tube to be optimistic about it. But having that ability is staggering. I mean, it's like, you know, where are the encyclopedia salesmen these days? They're probably investing in DVD manufacturing plants. Yeah. So, you know. Yeah,
or I don't know, maybe they're investing in Spotify or the AI murder drone chap. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah. I think the everywhere, you know, everything everywhere all at once. I think that encouraging the eclecticism of your listening is great, but I think that there's no necessary depth to that then. I don't know, it's odd, like only my own frame of reference. So my son listens to metal mainly, and you know, Pantera was his jam, and Down and that kind of stuff, right?
You're a lucky man.
Yeah. I feel sorry that he didn't also get the other stuff that I listened to. Like he was listening to stuff that I was listening to while I was playing. So I was, you know, in various drop C bands. So, you know, what else are you going to do? And he didn't hear the Kinks or the Beatles or Kate Bush or, you know, that sort of stuff as well. So that's to come for him. And I could see his tastes changing. You know, he's 17 now. But I don't know. It's like, we'll discuss Down or we'll discuss Pantera, and he knows those songs. He really knows those songs far more than I think I did. But he's subjected to so much of the same stuff because he likes that thing. So the algorithm goes, oh, you like that? You'll like the same thing over here and the same thing here and the same thing here. And so there's nothing nudging him out of that. There's no, if you're stood in the record store and an album cover grabs you, you go, shall I take a chance with it? Whereas if the algorithm's just rewarding you with the same taste, that's all you're going to listen to, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's,
unfortunately it goes back to the capitalistic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Andy, both of those bands are over 30 years old that you mentioned. To him, that's beyond classic rock, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's just insane. It's that's insane. You know.
You know, Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it makes it. I don't want to sound like we're just a bunch of old men complaining about how things have
We are
changed all
old
the
men
time.
shouting at the clouds, though.
Yeah,
Really.
but you know, and it's just every generation's like, well, when I was young, it was better. It's like, well, we haven't had this huge paradigm shift that we've had in a short period of time that everybody's involved with. From babies to people about ready to kick it off. Everybody, you can't escape it. Everybody is. I don't care if you want to walk around
Well,
the fringe of it. It exists.
yeah, I mean, think about it. Like Lemmy said it quite well. He said he was there before rock and roll and after.
Yeah.
So right. So I mean, our parents, my mum and dad. I mean, they were into rock and roll because that was the brand new thing.
Yeah.
Since, I mean, it's not that long ago, and it's changed, but the thing is, it hasn't been around long enough for us to know what it's going to do next.
No.
Right? It's like history can't inform us what's going to happen in the future like it can with everything else, because rock and roll hasn't been around. It's an entirely new thing, and it's still the new thing. It's still morphing. It's still doing its thing, and all those different genres, no matter how bizarre and how left field and right field they are, it's all fundamentally rock and roll. It has to be, because that's where it initially came from. So we're talking what, the 50s, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what it's going to do next, because we can't really say, oh yes, well this happened before. We know the type of thing that it's all new.
It's all new, and I think what, more than being my time was better, it's more of like I have a sadness. I have a sadness for the the way that we discovered things were, like we talked about the fact it was kind of magical. It's like you'd stumble into things, and then that would be a little door to open into this other room, and then you'd find a door to move into this other room, and it was slow, but it was of the time, so it didn't seem slow.
But like you said before, it's also, we have to be so wary of, I forget the French word, I think it's a French word for it, where you look back at a time with which was an amazing time, and it's a safe place that you're looking back at. But
Right.
also there's that regret that you have. It's a place you can never return to.
Sure.
And those times are so precious. And music and art is one of those things where when that flower's in you, it's a monumental gear shift moment in your life. And looking back at that, yeah, I think especially sort of our age, when the winter plumage is kicking in, it looking back like that can be like that rose tinted glasses kind of vibe, where it's
Sure.
And to your point that it wasn't better, it was just different. It's what we lived through, really, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It was just different, and it's like it's like they'll like have a kid. Well, I couldn't imagine not having this or having that. It's like, well, when you're in the time, it's not there, so you don't have to think about not having something that you've never had.
Yeah.
So that's the big paradigm. I think the thing that we've lost more than anything else, and I think this is across the board, going to the store, anywhere else, is just patience, and this just leads itself into it. Finding new music. If you want to dig down, you want to find out about something, it's going to take patience. And if you want to actually listen through something, it's going to take patience. And there's this low level anxiety that just seems to be, it's like static electricity that's just shaking everything all the time. And everybody's like got this low level hum that makes you move forward all. And I don't think that's going anywhere. Maybe in generations they'll get used to it and everything will slow down. But I think the way that things have been thrown at us in especially the last 15, 20 years, it's just people are still trying to get their sea legs over everything. And the fact that,
100%.
and with music, it's the same thing. And now, I mean, I'll throw on YouTube and I'll just put it on the music channel and I'll listen to it while I'm cleaning or whatever. And it's like, and it just goes it just starts curating for me. I think that's what we were talking about earlier. It's like, it's a curation, right? The algorithm is curating, thinking that, but what I like to do is I'll throw on something I don't generally listen to, but again, this is a point that I want to get to, and it'll just start kicking off things that it thinks I may like.
Yeah.
because I'm tricking it into thinking that I like things that I don't may necessarily not be my cup of tea. But that's on me, right? I think where we're it a lot of this it has to do with personal responsibility. I mean, understanding that the
Oh,
machine is
100%.
there and the machine is trying to run you in a certain way and everything else. And if you understand, you can, you are not beholden to it. You know, you can fuck with the algorithm. You can do whatever you want. It's on your control. It's like, and that's what makes it fun and fascinating to me. Is like, I don't have to just lay down at
Plug
the
in.
bottom and let it run over me. You know.
Yeah. And to your point, because you guys gig regularly as well, last Sunday we played in Swansea, and I mean, I was the oldest guy there, right? I mean, I think I was asked a couple of times where they need to put stuff, and you know, it's like, I'm a fucking band, mate. I know I look like your dad or your granddad, but it was all kids, and they were all really good, and some of them weren't, and it didn't matter because they were kids and they were fucking having it, and they brought their tribes with them. And I barely saw, apart from when there was a lull in proceedings and people were staring at their phones, when there was a band there, they were watching. They weren't even filming.
Yeah.
You know, you'd see some parents and stuff there, you know, supporting their kids' band, and they were filming, but the kids weren't filming. They were in the moment. And it was
interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
It was so refreshing because I was, you know, I haven't gigged locally for a long time, and I didn't know what to expect, really. I just was expecting a shit front of house. And aside from that, just, you know, get the prayer mat out and hope for the best. And the place was full. It was really, really good. And predominantly young people without their phones out filming.
That's beautiful.
Stuff. Yeah, right. So perhaps that's the...
that's punk rock.
Yeah, right. That's the essence of it. So that hasn't gone away. I thought it would have done, but the one thing that you can't do when you're, you know, scanning through each song is you can't get that visceral moment between a crowd and a band, and they're going out and looking for it. So then you think, oh, thank fuck, you know, we've got some people will save this just by being in love with that part, because that's the other part that we didn't discuss, which is that handshake between artist and consumer of that art is especially with such a unique thing that we do, is that it's completely interactive straight away. It's like the stand-up comedy. It has to work in a live environment. Otherwise it's a exercise in something other than being in a band. You know, it's just painting. It's not screaming at a crowd, you know. And just watching the other bands was great enough. Being on stage then and having good feedback back, emotional feedback coming back, was a shock for me to be in my sort of local town and not experiencing that for a long time. And suddenly it's like a bunch of kids and they're just going ape.
Yeah.
So it is out there, and that's the other side of it. That's the positive thing, I would say, Tom, you know.
Oh, I think so too. And that energy that you're talking about is it's not only is it real time, it's very difficult to describe to somebody who's doesn't put themselves out there. And it's also like driving a car, like the little tiny adjustments that you make along the way as you're creating this. That's why I don't feel comfortable at all speaking in front of like 5 people, but I could play bass to 10,000 people and not even care. Right? Like it's just the way my mind is wired. And because there's that instant, you know, feedback that's happening. So that's the real sort of esoteric, you know, element of it too. So I'm glad the show went really well. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And
we had that it's been a while now. It was a New Year's Eve gig. I think it was New Year's Eve. Anyway, it was a 7 Second Circle gig, and a lot of young people, because it was an all ages. That's the thing too. You got to find those all ages shows. And it was an all ages shows, and the kids were into it, and they weren't filming. They were moshing around, listening and jumping up, and they were into it. And we're talking, you know, they were probably 18 or younger. But the fact it's like, you know, that there's a validation to that, isn't there? It's like that what you're doing is still has something power that is still, you know, valuable.
Yeah.
you know, and that people are getting something from it, because
Yeah.
I know as a musician, and I'm sure I know Tom feels the same way. I don't like to speak for him, but we played with each other for a billion years. There's always this like strange, you got to be validated every once in a while, and you know, got to make it. There's this imposter syndrome that goes on pretty much constantly. It's like 'cause there's a
Massively.
billion musicians out there, and it's like,
Yep.
what makes you any different, you know, than anybody else? You know, so you just reminds me of Dwight Yoakam in Sling Blade. We're getting the band back together, kind of thing. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to fall into that, you know, and I just want to. This is what I do, and it's a piece of me. And it's just like somebody validating you as a person when you get out there in front of them. It's like you're being very vulnerable as it stands when you get out there. And,
You are
and,
asking
you know,
for that vulnerability. It's a unconscious request to emote back at me, please.
yes,
Yeah.
It's literally, I don't want you to mirror what I'm doing. I want you to feel what I'm doing and hopefully get something out of it. And when you
Yeah.
do get something out of it, that comes straight back. It's I can count on one hand the number of times it's happened sort of unanimously, where it's a complete handshake between audience, and it's almost too much.
yeah,
And you feel too electric.
Oh, it's overwhelming. Yeah.
It's absolutely overwhelming. And I think some of the biggest stars are the ones that can map that out in a way and keep on bringing that sort of robberous circle
right,
between audience and band, or audience and solo star, whatever it is. Those people who can do that and not feel overwhelmed by it all, because it's so visceral, you know. But yeah, it was a smattering of that. I'm not trying to say it was Queen at Wembley or anything. It wasn't, but it was. We held our own, and we were quite well. We are excellent, so it was all right. But that reaction from the crowd was electric enough for me to go, oh yes, right. So that's okay then. You
That's
know,
why I do this.
I can still do that. I can still do that to people.
yeah,
It's a byproduct of what I do. It's not intentional, but when we do that together, it's nice that the thing that comes out of me is beneficial to someone other than me.
that's how I look at it. That's how you know. To me, it's a legacy, you know, and as odd as it may seem, it feels like we're adding value to the world. We're adding some sort of you know, maybe just a resting point for people can just, you know, get away from everything and take this in and give themselves, you know, a little bit of just a breath, you know. It's a dopamine hit, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's French fries at McDonald's or it's, you know, you a song comes on that you really like. It's like your brain just lights up and goes, yeah, this is, you know, and it does something for you, even if it's something that's cathartic and makes you cry. I mean, that's okay. Your body needs that. So there's a reason that that exists, you know. And I feel like that's kind of our duty in some ways. It's like, this is what we're giving to you. This is what we do. We're here to help, you know, we're here to enrich.
Yeah.
And as creators, there was the space of nothing, and then there's a song there. And that's the very first birthing or evolution of what's happening. Because, you know, it's funny, you talked about the saying like, oh, we're going to get the band back together. I mean, we have felt that nostalgia train. And I don't know, is it better to burn out than fade away? Because I don't know. It's I see positives on both sides, you know?
That to me, that's like, is it better to breathe or not breathe at this point?
Well, that's yes, but the difference is we're still creating. So we always have that kind of going
you
on.
don't you're not doing the whole legacy. That's it. We stop and we only play the stuff that the past dictates. I.e., the fan base likes this stuff from the past, so we'll play that from the past, and we cannot move on from that. So you're stuck in the legacy bubble. I mean, just in the heavy metal world, so Megadeth have announced their retirement. It's like their last album and tour, which is going to be about 5 years in length, I would imagine, right? Just to wind it all down, the huge machine that it is. Maiden are going to call it at some point, right, properly. You know, all the legacy bands. I mean, they're all bringing out new albums, and I suppose people buy them who are huge fans. But yeah, to your point, do you keep creating? And if you do, then fine. But if you're not creating anymore, and you just like, I suppose Kiss, right? There's no new album, there's no new thing. It's just that, and it's going to carry on ad infinitum. And when they all die, they'll just have, I don't know, virtual Paul Stanleys, or just, you know,
Right.
in Vegas.
They will
with the
be
makeup
buried
on.
in Kiss coffins.
Yeah,
They'll
right.
be buried in Kiss coffins.
So yeah, absolutely. Once the art stops, yeah, that's a. I don't know. Do you keep going? I suppose you do. What else are you going to do, really? Until you become some sort of puppet, and then there's no point. You know, where it's, you know, do the thing you did. It's like all these old buggers, these poor old buggers. You know, it's like Steven Tyler doesn't want to tour anymore. No, because he's got to squeal and scream like that and shake his hips. I think he's on somebody else's hips now, isn't he? So, or robotic hips. The poor bugger, right?
Right.
It's like, do the thing you do it now. It's like people having to go at David Lee Roth for his Vegas residency because he sounds bad. He sounded bad in '84. You know, it's David Lee Roth. Oh, he looks terrible. He's fucking 99 or whatever he fucking is now, right? It's like, leave them alone, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he could say yay or nay to anything he wants to do, but it's,
Right.
you know, I mean, come on.
Well, again, that's the beauty of being beholden to yourself rather than a record company. So, yeah, I'm still standing by the fact that I think that money ruins fucking everything.
Well, it does change the whole dynamic, doesn't it? With all the artists that we're talking about, most of the reason they're going out there, or at least part of the reason they're going out there, is for money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess there is some beauty in the fact that you know, if you never get to that point, then you're really just doing it because you love it, and that's it. You know, it isn't like, oh, I got to go out there and fucking dig a ditch, you know, kind of attitude toward it, because you fucking know that Mick Jagger is going out there like it's digging ditches now. And I'm not saying he doesn't love it when he gets out there, but you know, that's how he makes a living, and he has to continue to do that if he wants to make a living. They're not, I mean, and you know, in point to what we're talking about, I was talking to Doug yesterday, and we all have issues with legacy, tribute bands. But I told him, I said, you know, you got to understand, I get it. I don't like tribute bands crossing over into original band world. Like, we should not be on the same bills together. It just doesn't make any sense. The bands that these tribute bands are tributing they don't exist anymore. You get your Leonard Skinner bands, and AC/DC barely plays out because they're all going away, or they have gone away. So in essence, they are completely a dog and pony show now. They're just it's like us going out and, you know, and doing pantomime or something. You know, you're doing this art that doesn't really exist anymore because those bands haven't existed in a long time. So I get that they're fulfilling a niche that, you know, used to be cover bands were covered. When did a tribute band come along? I don't even remember. That's a kind of a newer thing in the last maybe couple of decades.
Probably 2020, 2000s, 2010s.
Because it used to just be cover bands, right? Which was basically kind of like a live DJ in a way. It was a band being a DJ.
It'd be like Rush and AC/DC.
Yeah, they would just play songs that people knew.
Yeah.
And just, you know, so that's a completely different animal. And you don't see that as much anymore. You see these tribute bands over and over again.
You have been watching and listening to the Satellite Trampoline 3 podcast. Thank you for your company. Catch us next time.